Present.
Commissioner P?
Here.
Chairman Hart?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair, do we have we reviewed the minutes from the previous meeting?
I haven't found them in order, and I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The minutes stand approved. We don't have anybody for public comments.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We are at number 5. We're going to, Matt, why don't you come? I think we're looking at an RFQ regarding tires. You wanted to take under review, I believe, 3 bids that we received, correct?
Yes.
Why don't you tell the committee what we're doing, why we're doing it, and the process, and then if you have a recommendation for us.
Okay. We got bids from Best One, Wilkes, and Southern Tire Mart. We've had relationships with all 3 of them at different times in the past. The big thing I would start with is just that Wilkes has been kind of our primary dealer for a couple of years now. They've been a very good partner with us as far as we get priority when our trucks come in their shop. They get us out within 15 to 30 minutes just about every time.
Wow.
That we get similar good service when we have to call them for road service or nighttime weekend stuff.
If we have an issue on the landfill, because I know we have issues constantly with damaged tires. As a matter of fact, Commissioner P and I were talking that a little while ago. When we have a tire go down that's slashed, like a sidewall or something, and it goes down immediately, do they go to the landfill and
They do.
fix? Okay.
They they don't complain.
Okay. It's not the best environment, it's the reason I'm saying.
I've been there many times.
I know.
Wilkes is really good, also with kind of the side issues as far as they bill us accurately. When we do have questions, they've got somebody local that either answers the questions or makes things right very quickly. We've had a similar good experience with Best One in years past, even though they're not a vendor of ours right now. The third vendor that put in a bid is Southern Tire Mart, and a lot of their prices are lower, but we did have an issue where they won a contract the last time we bid this, and then a very short time into that contract, they raised their prices significantly. So we don't have a lot of confidence in accepting that bid. The other thing that I would say, kind of looking at all 3 of these places, is Best One and Wilkes they're very close together, kind of on the south side of Smyrna, north side of Murfreesboro. They're just better located for 4 of our 5 busiest sites. Just logistically, it's going to save us time and money actually getting there when we need to, compared to Southern Tire's location. So with these things in mind, can I go ahead and say we recommend?
You most certainly can. This is your presentation.
We recommend Best One and Wilkes to be our tire vendors with this new contract.
How does this be compared to the last one?
Wilkes prices are a little bit higher. I don't have the last bid with this, but the things we use most, they're still, I would say, competitive. Some of the items here, they cost a little bit more on. Our drive tires, less than half of our trucks use this tire now. It's about 17% more. The recap that we use a lot of for our drive tires is $10 more than, excuse me, no, that was $10 less than Best One. It's very competitive. The big difference in this, I would say, is that Best One's service call costs less than Wilkes, where normal daytime service call, Best One's at $85, Wilkes is $150. Where we want to accept both of these vendors, that gives us the flexibility to say, Best One would be our first call for road service, where we probably would still go to Wilkes more when we need to go in the shop and get a tire.
So you're talking about a primary, secondary kind of relationship.
Exactly.
Based on what the need is?
We have that flexibility when we have the 2.
So is that your recommendation?
Yes, for Best One and Wilkes.
So your recommendation is to have one and a backup?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. The primary and the secondary.
And that would be Wilkes and Southern,
Wilkes and Best One.
best one.
Was there any kind of, spreadsheet that you developed that,
I made this just for our conversation, kind of showing the different items and services we use and comparing each one. I can tell you with adding up every item, which is not exactly the best, just based on what we use, but all of the bids are within about 15% when you do that. But then when you look at each item, mostly it's kind of a toss-up between, you know, this vendor was the lowest bid on this item, the next item a different vendor was. And I would say they're all competitive.
but you mentioned that, Southern Tire was a little bit cheaper in some areas, but we don't have to, based upon past experience, we don't have to choose the lowest bid if there've been issues in the past.
That is
And so you've had issues in the past.
correct.
Okay. And is that spreadsheet, can it be put into the minutes?
Okay, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We can make that spreadsheet available, absolutely we can.
Well,
It's a public document.
I'll move with, to take Mr. Davis's recommendation.
We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion. We'll always have discussion before we have a vote. Mr. Vice Chair.
Since you're going for two, why don't you go for three? I mean, you said this guy's got the lower prices, so you have the option, if you went with all three, to get the low price tire out of that, if that's what your notes are showing us.
I mean, I'm not personally against that.
I'm just curious if that would be an option. I mean, why limit yourself if you are going with two for that same reason? Why wouldn't you go with three?
I don't have an explanation for that. I know that when I talked to Bishop about this, when we sent out the bid package, he did say we have a primary, which is what they primarily use most of the time in the event that that vendor is unavailable or they don't have that tire available or something, like they run to the backup. So it's the primary vendor, is the way I understood from talking to Bishop, correct me if I'm mistaken, Matt, is they use that vendor the vast majority of the time. The secondary vendor is available if they're not able to respond in a timely manner and or that particular tire, size tire, is unavailable in that inventory. That would be the purpose of the primary or secondary.
The primary is best one.
Primary would be Wilkes, I believe.
Wilkes.
And I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying if you're gonna leave yourself open with a primary and a secondary, you could have a tertiary, so. Trade notes that.
The only comment I have is that service and experience is valuable. It carries a lot of weight with me and my family, so.
Well, I will say in particular, when you have our trucks up on the landfill having to wait 2.5 hours anyway, and you got a truck down that's already waited 2 hours, and now we're having to wait another 2 hours to get a tire changed, and they're trying to get the routes done, and now when you miss pickup, it just, I can tell you, it just has a cascading effect, which for these guys is challenging. So I try not to micromanage the logistics of what they're trying to do, but just give them the tools to do it. So, but we're obviously the will of the committee.
And I don't have a problem with the bid the way it is. I just wanted to point out and ask this question. Even though you have the primary and secondary, if this goes through, could you still go to the other one to purchase tires if they were cheaper? Or does this exclude us from being able to do that?
I don't think this excludes us from doing that if those two vendors are not available. Obviously, when we're in an emergency situation, which is, I think is what you're referencing, we don't want to be in an emergency situation. The county's not going to get in a situation where we're going to be held captive by either or any vendor or any set of vendors for not providing the service to our residents that they require. So I don't think that's while we can do that, I know that Bishop would have that latitude, and he certainly understands that latitude is afforded him out of the mayor's office and through this committee. So I know that from time to time, we do have to make emergency purchases that don't get to come to this committee because of the timing of this, how this committee meets, and that it would fall under that kind of provision is the way I understand it, Commissioner.
Okay.
I think this just authorized you to go into a contract.
Correct.
Right.
With the two.
With this pricing.
With these pricing, and then if for some reason there's an emergency where these two companies are not available at the time, you could call, I guess, any.
We can call them or anybody else for that
Okay,
matter.
okay.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, if there's no objection, Carl, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Peak?
Yes.
Chairman Carr?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
We appreciate all the companies that bid.
Yes, we do. Those are the minutes. Steve? Tell us what we're doing.
Yes, sir. I've received 2 bids for officers' uniforms from Summit Uniforms and CMS Uniforms. We currently have a contract with CMS Uniforms. Been doing business with them over 20 years. The price in comparison goes back and forth. Some companies cheaper than the other. Part of our requirement, they have to be open 5 days a week for service. Summit is only open 4 days a week. CMS has been very good to us. I recommend that we go with CMS.
We have a recommendation with CMS.
The comment is that relationships and service is valuable.
Yes,
It's
yes, sir.
valuable,
Yes, sir.
and I move to go with his recommendation.
We've got a spreadsheet for the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a motion for the recommendation for CMS.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Did you say they're not the low bid on everything? It's kind of a
Yeah, it goes back and forth, yes. 109 items that
We're not, I hope we're not going to ask you to review all 190 items.
Yes.
Although you're at the will of the committee, Mr.
Yes,
Spence.
yes, yes.
Mr. Gooch, would you like for us to review all 190 items in detail?
I think that he's already taken it under advisement with his refinement.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, if there's no objection, Carla, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner Peak?
yes.
Chairman Carr?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6, under new business, we're going to continue with Mr. Spence. What are we talking about with inmate uniforms and supplies, please?
We're accepting bids on inmates' uniforms, clothing, and supplies for the jail.
Okay.
And we're probably gonna take this under advisement.
Okay.
That's why
I like it when you do that.
Well,
Well,
we
it's
have
just,
time to go through it.
yes, yeah, thank you. Sometimes we can, but it's preferred. Do you need some help opening those?
Uniforms, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I brought some scissors.
I got a knife.
You do have enough.
I want you. Here. So we got 4 bids in.
Chief Spence, while they're doing that, who's the first supplier?
Different ones, Corporal Scott here, he can come up and answer those. We buy from different vendors for price prices. So this is Corporal Tommy Scott, he oversees the inmate.
Currently, we're using Bob Barker and Victory Supply, primary and secondary. Occasionally, we'll have to use Charmtex if one of the other 2 cannot provide what we need.
These are handled differently than uniforms, correct? Do we buy these?
Yeah, yes, we buy, it's inmate uniforms, hygiene items, towels, socks.
and they're handled differently than officers' uniforms.
We launder these, don't we? And that's the difference, whereas the
Oh, yes.
officers' uniforms are not laundered by us.
Right, we
They're
dry clean.
outsourced.
Yes, sir.
We actually, the county actually launders, these items, correct?
Yes, our laundry does all of their laundry.
And a lot of them has to be replaced due to the wear and tear and then.
Understandable. So does your uniforms have to be replaced from
Yes.
time to time? too?
Yes.
Okay, so the first bid is from Victory Supply, and I only got one document in. I'll have to make it.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
But here, I'll let you look at that. The second bid is from Bob Barker. There's your copy. Here's a copy. Here, if you want, Commissioner, I can give another one.
Just make sure we keep that on. We'll look at it later. We got another version down here, John. Basket's done. You done, Greg?
The third one is from Hard Time Products, LLC.
Hard Time Products? That name right there, gentlemen, I have to tell you, that, I'm kind of biased here just a little bit. We are being recorded.
That was a joke.
Yes. I just like the name.
This company reached out to us by email, so we sent an RFP to give them a chance to bid.
Here you go.
Really? No,
You look at the original.
Is that Hard Time? I think I've already stepped in. I don't need to do that anymore. Mr. Gooch, Commissioners, I thought it was your responsibility to make sure that the mayor didn't say anything inappropriate today. What happened?
I fell on that quite some time.
Ooh. Stinging rejoinder.
Go out of Rome,
Okay.
Georgia.
This
From
one
Georgia.
is the third one.
I do, a serious question, Mr. Spence, is a local vendor preferred for any reason other than being local? I mean, but I'm talking about as in Middle Tennessee, is there a reason why in evaluation that would be a significant?
I don't think there's any companies here that would be able to benefit what we need, image uniforms.
Okay.
Victory Supply is the closest, has a warehouse in Mount Juliet. They're the closest, Mount Juliet.
Okay.
I apologize, I forgot that.
You have a
Okay.
copy of this one?
Yes, I got the original.
And then the fourth one is from Charm Tex.
We only got 3 originals here.
Because he's got the first one.
We'll make a copy of that.
Use that original.
Okay.
And we will get you a copy of it.
Yes, thank you.
There's a copy of Charm Tex. And there's a copy of Charm Tex.
We recommend to take this under advisement.
So the recommendation is taken under advisement. Is there any objection from the committee?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor of taking advisement say aye.
Aye.
All those no. The ayes have it. We will take an advisement, and I will assume 30 days will be sufficient. for
Yes,
the-
yes.
Okay. Thank you much. We will move on to our second item under new business, chemicals and custodial supplies and equipment.
We're accepting bids through all the jail chemicals and janitorial supplies for the sheriff's office.
Chief, let me ask you, on the janitorial work, to what extent, if any, is any of that subcontracted out?
All the trustees take care of
That's why I knew they did some of it, so they do all
it.
of it?
Yes, sir, they do. Yes. And on these chemicals, there's two companies out of Tennessee, Lebanon Chemicals and then American Paper and Twine that we do business with now.
You're currently with American Paper and Twine?
Yes, sir. And Lebanon Chemicals.
Primary and secondary.
So we received 2 bids in. The first bid is from Lebanon Chemical Incorporated. Here's the original. Here's your copy. There's a copy for you. Thank you, sir.
I'm interested to know what a shank-free 24-inch squeegee is.
There's no metal, and if you try to break the handle, it just folds.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you can't get shanked.
Yes, sir.
Hence the term, shank-free.
Okay, so the second bid is from
Well, I just want to make it clarified.
Thank you, Commissioner Gooch, for that clarification.
Yeah, we don't need to get no shanking going on. I don't want Maggie to get shanked.
Imperial Bag and Paper.
That's probably American.
It's American. Okay, American Paper and Twine is the envelope, yeah. That must be the head company.
We would like to take this under advisement to that where we can request primary and secondary. We did last time.
We have a request from the Chief Bench to take it under advisement. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any objection? Seeing none, all those in favor of taking an advisement, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. It's under advisement till the 13th meeting.
I think when you get my wife.
The third item on the new business is Rutherford County Sheriff's Department acceptance Summit Food Service contract extension and price increase. Can you explain?
Yes, sir. Summit Food Service was awarded our contract February the 15th, 2002 for the work center, juvenile detention, and sheriff's office. Initial contract was for 2 years from August 1st, 2022 to ending July 31st, 24. They agreed to extend the contract. Summit has increased the cost by 5% for the work center and sheriff's office by 5%, and work center and juvenile by 10%. I talked to Director Cope and Director Duke. We agreed that we would recommend to accept this increase.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why are we increasing the sheriff's office by 5% and the work center, the juvenile center, by 10%?
They have less population. It's based on the population of the inmates, on the pricing.
So lot less, actually.
It is.
It is, but I'm wondering, they're buying the same food, it's just about serving that food. So I guess I get that if it was two different contracts, but it's the same contract for the same service, right?
Most of the time, the menus are different.
Or are they?
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
What's the name of the company again?
Summit Food Service. And we both, all three agencies plan for the budget for this year.
Thank you. I was just about to ask you, does this plan for within our budget?
Yes.
Budget year?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so your recommendation is to
Yes,
accept
go
a
with
5% with sheriff's office and 10% for detention and, for adult detention and juvenile detention, correct?
5% for the sheriff's office and 10% for juvenile and work center.
Work center.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Do we have a motion?
Motion to accept.
We have a motion to accept. Have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, if there's no objection, Carl, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Chairman Carr?
Yes.
Thank you.
Now we're going to surplus trade vehicles.
We're requesting, narcotics is requesting the surplus of 2015 Dodge Durango and trade it for a newer vehicle. The vehicle they're going to purchase is under contract. State contract.
So in essence, you're trading a car in?
Yes, sir. And they're making the difference, yes, sir.
And that's also in your budget for this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Rutherford. And the difference on the trade-in is, they're giving us $7,000 for the trade-in. The difference of $46,187.
That's the delta? The difference is 46,000?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Phillips, did you make a motion? I thought you did you?
I will.
Okay, well, I thought I did. I
Make a motion to accept.
My apologies. I don't want to. We have a motion to accept,
Second.
and we have a second from Commissioner Johnson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, if there's no objection, Carla, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Chairman Carr?
Yes.
Thank you.
Last on your list.
Yes, sir. We're requesting to retire our 7-year-old German Shepherd Izar due to health and age, requesting that Matthew Coombs takes possession of the responsibility of Izar.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, without objection, Carla, call the roll.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Aye.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Chairman Carr?
Aye.
Thank you.
Chief Spence, I've got a 14-year-old dog. Can you put out some kind of a recommendation that I retire it?
Yes, sir.
I got a basset hound. I got a pair of bassets. Can you do anything with those guys? They're not ready for retirement.
But Izar, he's getting where he can't get up and down in the patrol car, so. Thank you all very much.
Hey, Steve,
Thank you very much.
just real quick, Commissioner Johnson was wanting to know if there's a shank-free frying pan that he can give his wife.
Not aware of one.
Not aware of it. Be on the lookout.
Yes, sir, sure will.
I did. We always enjoy it when Mr. Gooch is with us.
I'm just trying to help the buddy.
I know you are. We have Rutherford County Fire and Rescue. Chief Hardy, you want to tell us what we're doing?
We did a bit out of maintenance for apparatus.
Okay.
Huh?
Hold on, I'll start opening some bids.
who currently is doing the maintenance on the apparatus? And the apparatus is, why don't you define that for the committee?
That'd be good.
The Todd Apparatus is the one that's doing our servicing our trucks now. Basically, we're talking about our frontline trucks, our fire engines, rescue trucks, the big trucks, our fleet.
So, but your fleet is larger than that. I mean, you have
Yeah.
other vehicles that
Well-
don't include, like, you have some F-350s and F-150s, and well, I'm talking about full 1 ton and half-ton
Those, some of
trucks.
those are brush trucks,
Right.
and we balance that between the county garage
Right.
and anything heavier that they can handle, we let Todd Apparatus handle.
And so they would get some of that, but maybe not all of it,
Yeah,
correct?
and like-
In this contract.
The Ram trucks that shift runners drive, it's, what is that, 350, 250?
They're 2,500.
The 2,500 with the Cummins diesel motor, and he works on those too. That way, we're not taking the Beeman or any dealership.
He comes to you.
Yes, he comes to us.
Yeah, Todd Apparatus is completely mobile, and like he was saying, he does all what we call the larger trucks. County Garage does some of our 1 tons or half tons and things like that, but at the same time, the brush trucks, they have a fire pump in the back. Todd Apparatus would manage the fire pump side, where the County Garage would take care of our oil changes.
And we're pretty much his only customer.
So we received 2 bids in. The first one is from Safe Industries.
So let me ask you a question about maintenance and repair. Maintenance is, usually that's a preventive in nature. If you have a issue with a apparatus that is down, how does that handle?
He works on pretty much everything unless it's a major internal engine.
Does that be like the powertrain?
Yeah, if it's major, it goes down to Rush, down in Laverne.
And the second one is from Todd Apparatus. Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry, Matt. I apologize.
I don't need to.
Well, that's right there per se.
That's no brainer.
And that's who you're using now is Todd.
Yes, we've had Todd Apparatus for the last 4 years. He's been solid.
These are the people they've already used.
When you call.
He's doing there at 9 o'clock at night. I don't know.
Yeah, he's,
Like I say, we're pretty much his own customer.
and he comes to us, if we have a truck that's broke on the side of the road, he comes to the side of the road and he'll work.
It looks like the difference in pricing is significant. It looks like 95 versus 175 an hour.
How much are these on the two?
These are the only two.
Okay, that's easy, we want to cut.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, no.
And he
So
gives,
I can infer by that comment, you're ready to make a recommendation.
yes, sir, my recommendation is go with Todd. So moved.
We've had for the last 4 years with this asset.
So
He's doing a great job for us.
we have a motion. Commissioner Johnson? Okay, we got a second. Discussion.
And you said you're using Todd right now?
Yes.
Hear no objection, seeing none. Carla, when you get ready, call the roll.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Commissioner Mackin?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Gooch?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner P?
Yes.
Chairman Carr?
Just for the record, Todd is the low bidder, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
We can go on if you want to.
Very low.
Labor cost is $95 to $175. Emergency calls is $95 an hour, $175. The bid price for emergency call nights and weekends is $115. Theirs is $195. The bid price for emergency call on holidays is $135, and he's $195.
Thanks for the record. Thank you, Steve.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Commander Rose.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. We have one piece of other business. The Venerable Mark Lee with SEC is with us. We have a concrete pavement change order that we want to describe that I wanted to bring to the purchasing committee's attention regarding the transfer station. And so there was and I want to try to say this, Mark, and you correct me because I'm sure I'll butcher it, but basically during the design, we initially designed, I think, 6 bays, and we went down to 5 bays. And when we did that, the apron for that 6th bay was removed, and so Moody did not have to perform the concrete for that because it changed. And so that then was moved over to
Regular concrete parking.
right, but for our
Site package.
site package.
Right.
And so so we moved that. We actually saved money, but Mark, why don't you explain? I'm butchering it. I do.
So the heavy equipment that Bishop runs out there is so heavy that it will require 2-foot thick concrete drive.
Talk about the wheel loaders.
Very, very heavy, so the concrete's 2 feet thick. And so then when the doors went from 6 to 5, it let out a portion that was supposed to be paved in front of the building. Bishop wanted to use that area. He had a purpose for that area. So rather than put in the 24-inch thick concrete, they decided to put in an 8-inch thick concrete, which we use around the rest of the site, so regular vehicles can drive on there and load stuff onto that area. So it's quite a savings going from 24-inch concrete down to 8 inches. So and that was, it was the 24-inch concrete was going to be put in the building package, and we already have under construction the site package, so it made sense, since Moody was already building 8-inch thick concrete, to move it from the building package into the site package so they could do that and it would match and it all blend together.
So what's the request?
You know what, I talked to Nick about this, and so it was the consensus of Nick and I that while we didn't need to come to the purchasing committee for this, we felt it was important to do so nonetheless. And so this is just, I asked Mark to come and do an FYI because this is a significant change order, and it's shifting a cost burden from the site package to the building, from the building package back to the site. And it's just that this is what we're doing. That's all it is. I'm not sure if a vote is necessary, but I did want to bring it to your attention as the purchasing committee because you approve purchases, and that's what this is about.
Mark, just out of curiosity, I understand what you're saying. I see, there's a significant, should be a significant savings in not having for that much concrete, but how are you going to keep those heavy trucks off those lighter aprons?
Bishop has, it's supposed to be marked. It's supposed to be designated area.
That's a good point. You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Commissioner. I hadn't thought of that, but that is something. Now's the time to address that. That we have some means by which of keeping the wheel loaders primarily are inside the transfer station, but they would come out on occasion, and so it's the wheel loaders that are the biggest concern. Having said that, you bring up an excellent point, and I will make sure to bring that to Bishop's attention so they don't get on that lighter apron area and damage it.
The 8 inches for the,
I'm sorry?
the 8 inches for the employees or
It's
regular
just
vehicles?
regular traffic. Yeah, it's just regular traffic.
And the wheelers can get into the bays without
Yeah, and so
driving on that.
the trucks aren't the issue. It's primarily the wheel loaders because they're so heavy and their wheelbase is so short, and they also have that loader with that 5-yard, 6-yard bucket, and there are 2 of them. So, and it's just the constant traffic on that. This apron area is going to be lightly traveled. But again, I go back to the point I think you're making is we need to make sure there's limited access especially on the wheel loaders. So
Well, 8 inches of concrete is a lot of concrete.
I'm sorry?
Your garage is normally 4, so I mean, that's made for a heavy duty
Sure.
vehicle, but for the weight you're talking about, I can just hear him coming up saying, oh, by the way.
We got a big crack.
Yeah.
Just said they're gonna get on it.
Yeah, and so we,
Yeah.
yeah, but I think what Commissioner P is saying is what are we gonna do to ensure that they have limited access?
I don't know whether you need a vote on this or not, but I would make a recommendation or motion to approve the change order and to communicate that change order through Public Works with an explanation of how you're going to keep heavy traffic off of the 8-inch traffic.
So, yeah, I appreciate that. So I would like a motion, and we'll just have a voice vote based on a second, if that's appropriate. And then what I will do, thank you, what I will do is I will get with Bishop and then the steel contractor, Boyce, along with Moody, and find out what it is that we're going to do to address the issue that Chairman P raised. And so I don't know that it'll be at the next Public Works meeting, but it certainly will be in a Public Works meeting in the next meeting or two when we have a resolution. And we will alert the chairman that we need to put that on the agenda. That'll be excellent. Yes. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
I'm just curious, why did we drop a bay? Why did we take one off? First I've heard of it.
Yeah, well, no, it's, I'm not sure why you didn't hear it. It's been dropped for quite some time. We didn't need it, and we wanted to reduce cost. It was unnecessary. And we went from, I think when we had, the size of the building was always the same, but initially it was only going to be one loading area, and we went to being able to load 2 trucks at a time. If you remember, an open top and a 2, and that's what it was. Am I saying that right, Mike?
Yes. Yeah. And if you all remember, the order which we got involved, it was after another consultant had not taken it to the level they needed to, and the mayor contacted me, and we jumped on it in short order and got the project. But typically when you do a project like this, you would do it all together, but we didn't have that option. We didn't have the time for that option. So we didn't have the building to design around other than a footprint that we knew, basically. So when we designed the site, we didn't have the building. And then when they designed the building, then we said, oh, we need to make some accommodations for this and that. We had, I think, a sidewalk that we had to move and some other stuff that was just minor stuff. But I mean, it just called for when we had the site done first and then the building, it called for some.
And I want to be clear, as I recollect why, I'm replaying the tapes and why we removed that 6th. That 6th bay was right next to where they're loading the trucks. And so you couldn't have trucks backing in there when you're trying to load that truck. So we literally need to remove, if we were going to remove that bay, there was no sense in paying for a very expensive bay door. And so we needed that space so the loaders could move in there while other trucks were backing in. And so I'm kind of going, why did we move it? It was logistically, that bay sitting right next to where the trucks were being loaded was gonna make it unusable anyway. So why have the expense of having it? That was the logic. So I thank you for bringing that up. I was trying to, why did we remove it? That's why.
Looking at Matt back there, you can accomplish all this through communicate all that through Public Works.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion. Did we get a second?
Yeah.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We'll bring it to Public Works in the next meeting or two. Is there any other business? Seeing none, we stand adjourned.